Welcome to True Crime Unleashed. I'm going to be going over some of the new docs today, and one of them I just happened to notice that make me basically said, huh. Moscow Police Department Law Enforcement Supplemental Narrative. On 11/13/2022, about 1200 hours, I responded to 1122 King Road in reference to possible homicide victims. Officer Nunez had arrived on scene and found a total of 4 deceased individuals. Officer Nunez informed other units he believed this will be a homicide. When I arrived, I entered the residence and went to the second floor. I observed a female wearing a sweatshirt and underwear laying in the middle of the bedroom floor. Covered in blood, I observed deep lacerations indicative of defensive wounds on the female's hands. The female was surrounded by blood on the floor. I observed a male laying on the bed. The male appeared to have suffered from stab wounds and a laceration to the neck. The male was covered in blood, and the bedding around him was soaked in blood. In a third floor bedroom, I observed 2 females laying in bed, which appeared to be having been stabbed to death. The female laying on the left side of the bed, which was Kaylee, as I looked at it from the doorway, was unrecognizable. Her face was completely disfigured and was stabbed several times. So she was stabbed in the face. I was unable to comprehend exactly what I was looking at while trying to discern the nature of the injuries. The second female on the right of the bed had multiple stab wounds. The comforter was soaked in blood, and a pool of blood was still present. I was assigned to hold security at the rear sliding door. This was the alleged point of entry of the suspect. I observed very large footprints in the snow. I used a tape measure, and the shoe size measured approximately 13.5 to 14 inches. So, size 13 to 14 shoe. The footsteps went to and from the rear sliding door. I observed the trail of footsteps head away from the slider, then turn right around a stump in the backyard and lead toward the front of the house. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. The screen to this window appeared damaged and was lying on the ground. I located smudged fingerprints on the glass slider door. There was a discarded black backpack in the backyard. I photographed these items and attached them to the case. I maintained rear security until I was relieved by Officer Warner. The only person to enter from this point was Captain Lanier at about 15:27 hours. See, that's the first time we're hearing about that. It really is. Mark and Betty, I don't know what the firecracker and the flash was, but they observed footprints coming and going in the snow from the house, and then they observed footprints going around to the right of that stump right behind the house. And gunshot, maybe, Mark and Betty, maybe a gunshot. But what I'd like to know about is the 2 cigarette butts that they found at the scene. And the ISP collected them. I don't know if the kids that lived in that house smoked. So why would there be two cigarette butts at the crime scene? That makes me wonder. And just like what the officer found, the footprints going around and away at the tree stump. Here's something else that's very interesting. On November 12th, 2022, at about 2100 hours, I began an overtime shift for a plainclothes detail on the University of Idaho campus and related areas. This patrol was for minors in consumption of alcohol. This is leading to the ban stop. I, along with other alcohol drug offenses during this patrol, I and other officer with me, Officer Rosendahl, only had our body cameras on. We were operating out of the Moscow Police Department Ford Fusion, which I drove throughout the entire detail. This particular department vehicle did not have a dash cam or any other recording device. My street time conducting the plainclothes detail concluded at 3:52 a.m. on November 13th. During this detail, Officer Rosendahl and I made several patrols through the area of King Street and Queen Road. During each patrol of the area, we traveled on the north side of 500 Queen Road. Heading east, we wrapped around the building, heading south on the east side, then went west on the south side of the complex. We then traveled north on the west side, turned west onto Queen Road, and proceeded to King Street. During one of the patrols in this area, while approaching this southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, I recalled seeing a darker colored vehicle with taillights on. This vehicle was parked facing south on the south side of the parking lot towards the west end. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King Street, which was where the vehicle was. Each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. During the final patrol, which to the best of my recollection was about 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. on November 13th, as we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals approaching the residence at 1122 King Street. During this detail, I was looking for alcoholic beverages, open alcoholic containers, and individuals who appeared to be intoxicated. I observed our related patrol, and I observed the individuals as I drove past, but did not see any reason for contact. For our related patrol, I recall my view of the individuals being obstructed by vehicles and brush on the east side of the parking lot for 1122 King Street. The individuals were walking close, a vehicle which was parked in the northeast corner of the lot. As I turned onto King Road and traveled west, I continued to view the individuals from my recollection. They were at least two individuals, possibly three. I recall one of the individuals having blonde hair. I do not recall exactly how many individuals there were, but yet he just said back there he believes it was 2 or 3. What they were wearing or any other details, as I quickly looked for beverages in their hands and whether they wore staggering or intoxicated. This is just getting weirder and weirder, guys. Since we made several patrols through the area, I cannot say with 100% confidence I saw the vehicle of the same pass as I saw the individuals. Upon review of my radio history, I contacted 3 individuals on Taylor Avenue at about 2:55 a.m. On the best of my recollection, this was after exiting King Street. After seeing the individuals at 1122 King Street, we cleared their this contact at 3:02 a.m. So what is going on in this case? Really? I mean, yes, it was pretty much well done and over with yesterday, with Brian being sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole and a 10-year fixed for the burglary. But these new documents that were dropped by the city of Moscow, especially the Moscow Police Department, they just don't make no sense. They really don't. They don't make no damn sense. You have the one I just read, which they saw 3 individuals walking towards 1122 King Road during their patrol. They said one of them was blonde, but they couldn't tell the other 2. You have them finding 2 cigarette butts at the crime scene, which that wasn't released in the beginning. You have Corporal Brett Payne stating that he witnessed Kaylee being stabbed in the face twice, and he was trying to figure out exactly if it was a female or a male he was looking at because the face was completely disfigured with stab wounds. And of course, you have Brian taking the stupidest plea ever. And then you have the victim impact statements yesterday, which I kind of could see where they were coming from, but at the same time, you don't attack somebody on their mental health like what Stephen Christie did. You don't. And there's a long list of people here. Of course, they're all redacted. But what I'd like to know, you have this person whose name is redacted. It says involved. You have witness. We all know that right there. That's Hunter Johnson. It says involved. Bethany involved. All these people are involved. Mentioned, mentioned, involved, mentioned, victim, which right there's, you can clearly see Madison Mogan's name. And you can see Xana's name and Ethan's name and Kaylee's name. And then you have involved, complainant, mentioned. And we all know that this is and then you have charged with burglary and murder. And here's what's funny. Hyundai Elantra, Range Rover, Honda Civic, Chevy Cruze, Jeep Wrangler, Ford Explorer, initiating call of an unconscious person, evidence incident, add Amazon items, tire repair kit, scissor jack, Cartman, 3 triangles, grand jury exhibit, prints, USB interviews, DVD, Vit bottle supplement, dig fingerprints, DNA extracts, fingerprints, screenshots, DVD drive, DVD KB jail calls, OneDrive HD, a USB, Hunter Johnson exemplars, hard drive 1, hard drive 2, hard drive 3, BK phone, BK hard drive, BK hard drives, BK laptop, additional exemplars, FBI TUI request, MPD emails, exemplars, CastViz DVD, DNA extracts, RCFL findings, RCFL vehicle data, gray key extracts, selected results, RCFL analyzer, Nunez emails, Gamma Phi Beta 2, Instagram data. Why would they have a sorority on there? Makes me wonder, why would they have a sorority on there? MPD emails, sieving material, pollen test mat, trace mineralogy twice, interview map, S&P profile trace, video, audio, MPD emails, some KD's something interview, fingerprint copies, BK jail calls, BK jail mail, X-rays, screenshots, emails, Koberger interview. That's his sister. That's his dad. I believe that's his mom. No, that's his mom. That's his dad. DM Cellbrite. Instagram DVD dot 3D scan. That's the 3D scan of the house. This is just so interesting. Hey there, guys. Come on into chat. Miss Wagner, Mr. Texas Ranger himself, Nefarious Hijinks. See, where was I? Okay, dog impound form. That's when they found Murphy and then took him straight to the Humane Society. Sample cutting, trace material seat, trace material mat, camera repair, C interview, King Road videos, DNA extracts, SW photos, vehicle times X2 photos, doctor photos, vehicle photos, cell data, Xana's old phone data, Instagram DVD, DNA kit, OneDrive data, TikTok data, suspicious iCloud data, YouTube data, Pullman Road, Nom Nom, jail calls, soil kit, PayPal data, Pal House, Palouse property DVD, Palouse property vehicle DVD, Elantra plate data, MBS Happy Day HD, Walgreens, Stinker USB, Exxon Mobil, Chevron video, Harbor Freight DVD, Winco HD, Cafe Arista video, mobile video, McDonald's video, Hayden Walmart, Nom Nom drives, Stinker video, Winco DVDs. These are all evidence, guys. Sunset Mart drives, full Molt videos, Pullman DMV, Inland Cell, etc., Moscow Bagel, Stax USB, Canon Press. Isn't that the same place? Yes, MJ Gold Pants. That is very telling. The DDD Molly questioning is most telling. Why do they have to hide everything in this case? It's ridiculous. I agree, Ricky Bobby. Why do they have to hide everything in this case? Now, Canon Press, isn't that owned by Doug Wilson? Isn't Canon Press owned by Doug Wilson? Can someone let me know in the chat? Is Canon Press not owned by Doug Wilson? That's what I really like to know. Canon Press, I believe, is owned by Doug Wilson, correct? Hey, Lucy. Hey, I'm not going after Doug. Inland Cell, etc., Moscow Bagel, Stacks, Canon Press, Taj USBs, Gypsy Java Video, Corner Club USB, Hill Rental Video, Ultras USB, US Chef USB, Indian Hills Video, LCU and Co-op, Cat Video, Nom Nom HD, Something S Family HD, Mr. Windshield Vid, Pullman, Walmart, Winco. Yes, I love my Lucy Morningstar. Lucy, what do you think of all these things? Are these just, is this the 53 terabytes of data that Ann Taylor was supposed to go through? Because it looks like a lot of video. Gritman USB, Tri-State USBs, Target Video, Pullman Mobile, SEL Video, Something House Vid, Ridge Road Video, that's redacted video, NRS and Spence Video, Anytime Fitness, Breakfast Club, Gamma Pi Beta. Yeah, ND Wilson. So, oh, exactly, Lucy Morningstar. And especially when they mentioned that they saw 3 individuals walking towards the King Road home. That came from that one of the officers doing the patrol that night, that they saw 3 individuals walking towards the King Road home, and they saw a darker vehicle sitting there with his parking lights on. Oh, that's very interesting to know. Nate is the neighbor of Shannon Gray. Yes, Ricky Bobby, that is Nate. Nate Wilson. Oh yeah, Lucy. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have here Cactus Computer, Palouse Property, Real Life Video, Vape Shop Video, Pullman Mobile, Rose Hours USB, West Palouse Video, Indian Hills Video, Welcome Home Bid. I believe that's supposed to be the Dylan's phone. M Interview, Walmart Sales, Facebook DVD, Amazon DVD, King Road Video. And mind you, this is 7/5/2023. They're doing all this stuff well after Brian was arrested. Wouldn't you think they would be doing this stuff before he was arrested? Getting all these videos before he was arrested? Something interview, tip interviews, interview, thumb drives, interview, WSU Park Drive, interview, tip interviews. Hunter Chapin initial. Yeah, that's clearly Hunter Chapin right there. I don't know who this is, but it says initial. Uh, I believe that's Bethany. Initial initial interview. Uh, DM. You can clearly see DM right there. Initial interview. V initial. L initial. Oh, I totally agree, Ricky Bobby. I've heard too much on the Linda Lane footage. Terrifying, yes, especially between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. Hey, True Seeker. The meta attached is a location in California. Yes, I've seen that too. Brent posted that image first in like 2006 or 2008. OF OFFS Viviana has been all over this. Let's see. Footwear examples. Now they say that they don't have the murder weapon, but right here, K bar and K bar sharpener. So they've got a K bar and a K bar sharpener. So if they don't have the murder weapon, why do they have a K bar and a K bar sharpener listed in evidence? Supplements, ISP, prop receipt, T-Mobile, DVD, blanket, curtain, Vans, shoes, Converse shoes, wanted shoes, wanted shoes, DM note, jacket, Adidas shirt, extension Instagram, interview, interview, OCRI drives, Verizon DVD, Facebook DVD, DNA extracts, L interview, disposable film. So, wouldn't you be that is a possibility, Lucy, because it clearly states there K bar and K bar sharpener. So, I mean, it's a possibility it was found in the house, inside the home. Exactly, Ricky Bobby, exactly. And Ellie said BK in his apartment until 2:45. Reason why the time frame was manufactured for 4 a.m. Exactly. What I'd like to know is uh, where those two cigarette butts came from that they found at the crime scene. They found two cigarette butts at the crime scene. I don't think any of those kids smoked. Yeah. They found here. I'll even go back and show you guys right here. And see, we weren't told this in the beginning either, guys. On 11/13/2022, about 1200 hours, I responded to 1122 King Road in reference to possible homicide victims. Officer Nunez had arrived on scene and found a total of 4 deceased individuals. Officer Nunez informed other units he believed this to be a homicide. When I arrived, I entered the residence and went to the second floor. I observed a female wearing a sweatshirt and underwear laying in the middle of the bedroom floor, covered in blood. That was Xana. I observed deep lacerations indicative of defensive wounds on the female's hands. The female was surrounded by blood on the floor. I observed a male laying on the bed. The male appeared to have suffered from stab wounds and a laceration to the neck. The male was covered in blood, and the bedding around him was soaked in blood. Here's what they didn't tell us. In a third floor bedroom, I observed 2 females laying in bed, which appeared to be have been stabbed to death. The female laying on the left half of the bed, which was Kaylee, guys. As I looked at it from the doorway, was unrecognizable. Her face was completely disfigured, and she was several stabbed and been stabbed several times. So Kaylee was stabbed in the face. Yes, they found 2 cigarette butts at the crime scene, Ricky Bobby. The female was surrounded by blood on the floor. I observed. Oh, no, okay, that's Xana. Hold on. The female laying on the left of the bed, as I looked at it from the doorway, was unrecognizable. Her face was completely disfigured and was stabbed several times. I was unable to comprehend exactly what I was looking at while trying to discern the nature of the injuries. The second female on the right half of the bed had multiple stab wounds. The comforter was soaked in blood, and a pool of blood was still present. Now, see, they didn't even mention finding the knife sheath right there. They did not mention finding the knife sheath. Because in the PCA, it states the reporting officer, which was Brett Payne, had observed the knife sheath as he walked into the third floor bedroom. That right there states that he didn't even mention finding the knife sheath. He saw 2 females laying in bed, Kaylee being stabbed in the face, and he was trying to figure out what he was looking at because he couldn't recognize her because her face was badly disfigured. And that goes back to what Steve said. Different injury patterns. Kaylee had different injury patterns than Maddie. I was assigned to hold security at the rear slider. This was alleged point of entry of the suspect. I observed very large footprints in the snow. I used a tape measure, and the shoe size measured approximately 13.5 to 14 inches. So whoever was coming in and out of the house had very big feet. The footsteps went to and from the rear slider. I observed the trail of footsteps head away from the slider, then turn right around a stump in the backyard and lead towards the front of the house. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. I don't think Brian has small hands. I really don't. I don't think Brian has small hands. Right here. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. The screen to this window appeared damaged and was laying on the ground. I located smudged fingerprints on the glass slider door. There was a discarded black backpack in the backyard. Who do we know, guys? Who do we know that carries black backpacks? And this question's to you, Miss Lucy. Yeah, Ricky Bobby, that's new, a black backpack. I photographed these items and attached them to the case. I maintained rear security until I was relieved by Officer Warner. The only person to enter from this point was Captain Lanier at about 15:27 hours. Yeah, none of this stuff was ever brought to the light until yesterday. That's a good possibility, Lucy. That really is. That's a very good possibility. A very good possibility. But yeah, as soon as I saw that black backpack, I'm like, that's really weird. Because I don't think I don't think Brian would carry a black backpack around. What do you think, Lucy? Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, this is Danny Vargas. Transporting electronic devices to Post Falls PD and Coeur d'Alene PD. On November 16th, 2022, I transported 4 cell phones belonging to Gonzalez, Mogan, Kernodle, and Chapin to Coeur d'Alene PD and gave them to Detective Dustin Taylor at approximately 0700 hours. November 17th at approximately 12:49 hours, I picked up the cell phones from Detective Taylor at CDA PD and brought them back to MPD and gave them back to Detective Mowry. On November 21st, 2022, I transported the phones belonging to Chapin, Mogan, and Kernodle. What happened to Kaylee's phone? Like right here, he states 4 cell phones belonging to Gonzalez, Mogan, Kernodle, and Chapin to Coeur d'Alene PD. But down here, I transported the phones belonging to Chapin, Mogan, and Kernodle to CDA PD and dropped them off with Detective Jesse Welch at approximately 1100 hours. On November 21st, 2022, I transported 2 separate charging cords belonging to electronic devices 22M-2070 and 22M-2071 to Post Falls PD and dropped them off with Detective Brad Johnston. At approximately 10:30 hours, I told Detective Johnson the cords were for the devices with Detective Neil Uhrig, received from Detective Mowry. That's weird. At first, they drop off 4 cell phones: Kaylee, Maddie, Zen, and Ethan at Coeur d'Alene. And then he picked up all 4 cell phones, and then he just, hey, Leslie and Billy. And then he dropped off just 3 cell phones. Anyone that thinks that Cy bailed because he had not viewed the data until 6 months after the deadline for defense to submit evidence is a danger to themselves. I mean, but what do you guys think about this? They dropped off 4 at first, then they picked them up, then they just dropped off 3. Could Coeur d'Alene have been holding on to Kaylee's cell phone? Hey, you Jeff. That's weird. Kaylee's phone went missing all of a sudden. I wonder where it went. Yes, that is truly weird, Cuff You. Yeah, they could have, and if so, why? That's what makes me wonder. Cuff You, that's what makes me wonder. Is it weird though? What do you think, Lucy? Is it weird to you that they initially dropped off uh, 4 cell phones, picked them up, and then just dropped off 3? Where'd Kaylee's cell phone go? Where'd her cell phone go? Just like this right here, guys. John Rosinski. Rosinski, mind you, these are all labeled Lost Supplemental Narrative. Rosinski booking 2 cigarette butts on Detective Adams' ISP behalf. On 11/21/22, I was asked by Detective Adams with the Idaho State Police to book 2 cigarette butts into evidence that he collected. Detective Adams brought the 2 cigarette butts to the Moscow Police Department evidence room where I watched him place them both into 2 separate ISP envelopes. I sealed the envelopes with evidence tape and signed the tape for both. The chain of custody was filled out on both envelopes. I booked the 2 envelopes into MPD evidence and requested they be sent to the state lab. I took photographs of the cigarette butts and attached them to the case file. Yes, it's a man's shoe. Oh, yeah, yeah. The same Secret Service that awarded Maori in 2023. Yeah, that's very interesting. Where did Cyray go? Yep, and I even read it, Lucy. Yeah, I got the doc right here. You want me to read it again, Lucy? Yeah, they always label these narratives. Narrative. On October 12th, 2022, at about 2100 hours, I began an overtime shift for a plainclothes detail on the University of Idaho campus and related areas. This patrol was for minors in possession of consumption of alcohol, along with other alcohol and drug offenses. During the patrol, I and another officer with me, Officer Rosendahl, only had our body worn cameras. We were operating out of the Moscow Police Department Ford Fusion, which I drove throughout the entire detail. This particular department vehicle did not have a dash camera or any other recording device. My street time conducting the plainclothes detail concluded at 3:52 a.m. on November 13th. During this detail, Officer Rosendahl and I made several patrols through the area of King Street and Queen Road. During each patrol of the area, we traveled the north side of 500 Queen Road. Headed east, we wrapped around the building, headed south on the east side, then west on the south side of the complex. We then traveled north on the west side, turned west onto Queen Road, and proceeded to King Street. Now, here's something that's going to make you think what we've heard from day one. During the detail, Officer Rosendahl and I made several passes through the area of King Street and Queen Road. During each patrol of the area, we traveled on the north side of Queen Road, heading west. We wrapped around the building, heading south, and on the east side, then west on the south side of the complex. We proceed to King Street. During one of the patrols in this area, while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, I recall seeing a darker colored vehicle with tail lights on. This vehicle was parked facing south on the south side of the parking lot towards the west end. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King, which was where the vehicle was. Each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. During the final patrol, which to the best of my recollection was between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. hours on November 13th, as we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals approaching their residence at 1122 King Street. During this detail, and I was looking for alcoholic beverages, open alcoholic containers, and the individuals who appeared to be intoxicated, I observed the individuals as I drove past, but did not see any reason to contact them for our related patrol. I recall my view of the individuals being obstructed by vehicles and brush on the east side of the parking lot of 1122 King Street. The individuals were walking close. A vehicle which was parked in the northeast corner of the lot. As I turned onto Queen Road and I traveled west, I continued to view the individuals. From my recollection, there were at least two individuals, possibly three. I recall one of the individuals having blonde hair. I do not recall exactly how many individuals there were. He just contradicted himself right there. See, at first he says right up here, there were at least two individuals, possibly three. And then down here, I cannot say with 100% confidence I saw that, yeah, that he did not see them. He did not see more than one person. So make it make sense, Rosendahl. Yes, it does, Cuff You. See you, Leslie and Billy. The date and the time is 1:39:56, and the time is 11:15. Well, the date is 11/15/2022. Yes, I agree exactly, Lucy. If only they would have been in a marked unit, they could have prevented this dumpster fire. As I hear Rosie called out multiple times in Linda Lane audio. Yep. Yeah, but it was like 3 a.m. Yeah. It was between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. that they did the patrols. Now it says down here, Upon reviewing my radio history, I contacted three individuals at Taylor Avenue, which is Banfield, at about 2:55 a.m. To the best of my recollection, this was after exiting King Street after seeing the individuals at 1122 King Street. We cleared this contact at 3:32 a.m. Yeah, 3:32 a.m. They cleared the contact. They were with the kids from the Banfield for 30 minutes, and then this officer saw three individuals, or look, what he thought was three individuals walking towards 1122 King Street. And then he contradicted himself, stating that he didn't know if he saw or how many he saw. I'm gonna make it make sense, guys. Make this stuff make sense. Twiz, can you make this stuff make sense? That link's for you, Twiz, if you want to come up for maybe 10 minutes. Exactly, Cup You. The math ain't mathin'. The only way to make it make sense is to understand it's not supposed to make sense. Yeah, I know, right? Because the math ain't mathin'. You know, nothing in this case since day one, the math has not been mathing. What is it, Moscow? I don't know, but have you guys seen the new interviews that the Gonzalez family did on the morning shows? Exactly right, Ricky Bobby. Rosie not protecting or serving that community. Well, you seen all three, Cup You? Yep, Twiz. It's always Christmas, never winter. What did you think of those interviews, Cup You? I thought they were rinse and repeat. Yeah, exactly. I want to know what everyone's thoughts on those victim impact statements yesterday. I liked Ben Mogan's because Ben Mogan actually took some accountability for his past. But the way Steve and Christy both was attacking Brian's mental health, that's not a good look. Who do you think they were talking to, Twiz? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were, but I just try to let my opinion conservative, uh, because no matter the behavior these people are hurting. Yes, I agree with you, Cuff. You, I mean, I totally agree with you. And these docs we are reading are part of the cause the PD was incompetent. Oh, absolutely. Now, do you guys know that there was actually a tip that could have exonerated Brian, and it was ignored? Yes, they were distasteful, but yeah, but I would rather expect any. What tip? Hold on a minute. I will pull it up. Find it again. Yeah, there was. I got it on my community page, and I believe I also got it downloaded. Oh, Cup, you make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. LE is a form of a secret society. I mean, I do agree with that. Hey, Twizzy, why don't you come up for 10 minutes? I got the link pinned in the top of the chat. Would love to hear your thoughts on this stuff. Oh, you got to go soon. What's your plans for tonight, Twiz? Yeah, let's get into the good stuff. This is from 3/7/2023. Now, my question to you, Twiz, is why didn't they do all this stuff before they arrested Brian? Get all this evidence against this supposed evidence against Brian before they arrested him. Why did they wait till after he was arrested? Hey, now look at the dates here. This goes all the way back to around the time he was arrested. D and one like Dylan and Bethany initial interview. Receipts, prints, interview. Uh, Jay could be Chapin interview. Uh, Hunter Chapin interview. Maisie could be Maisie Chapin interview. Uh, J interview. E interview. P interview. Quality in initial, quality in receipts. Scene photo. Uh, that could be Kara interview. licensing receipts, phone swab, paper, pedal swab, gear shift swab, radio dial swab, release swab, seatbelt swab, numerica. These are all redacted names. Interview, DVD, interview, Apple Watch, DVD, black boots, CD photos, interview fingerprints, MC prints, Hyundai fob, crime books, dark hats, black gloves, gloves and hat, mis- miscellaneous clothing, motherboard, motherboard to what? WC docs, Montana note, shop back, medical documents, court documents, note from his dad, spiral notebook, dark clothes, HP computer, Lenovo laptop, tangent computer, dark clothing, Taylor knife, swab, dark boots, brown boots, phone data, clear glove, Asus laptop. That's four dark jackets. Well, three dark jackets. Dark shirts, dark pants, HP laptop, Glock ROS. Yes, they found it was either a gun in his house or a gun in the car. Yes, that is true. Do we really need to frame someone when you've got the guy who did it? He had a lot of freaking laptops and computers. Notebook, university documents, Navy police, drawing, ID cards, Hyundai Elantra key, suspect clothes, trunk tools, flashlight, medical gloves, Arizona t-shirt, WSU t-shirt, Nike shoes, UA socks, shorts, boxers, DVD photos, plastic baggie, clear glove, black glove, underwear, coins, plastic baggie, coins, winter gloves, Target receipt, insurance card registration, hotel receipt, Circle K receipt, hiking boots, key holder, tire iron, shovel goggles, orange vest, floor mats receipt, H2O bottle, H2O floor mat, tire iron wrench, door panel, seat cover, seat belt, headrest, seat back, fiber, pedal cover, gas pedal, vacuum filters, phone charger, miscellaneous band-aids, uh, Home Depot receipt, miscellaneous documents, some interview vehicle swabs. And here's what's funny. What they found in his car. Marijuana, documents, and marijuana. So he had marijuana in his car. Yeah, that was all from his parents' home. Yeah, they found marijuana because it's down there twice. Mary Joanna or Mary Jane. They found it in his vehicle. Yeah. So he must have had, yep, marijuana documents and marijuana. Password paper, 3 magazines, books, face masks, prescription, black gloves, hat, mask, ID documents, New Balance shoes, K something interview, Gonzalez receipts, interviews, interview, Detective Adams' initial, Detective Water initials or Walker, C Club receipts, D interview, initial interview. There's a lot of interviews. Running report, stacks receipts, DVD and docs, DVD and list, audio and emails, video and emails, Artista video, triage report. I wonder who the triage report's for. Well, I changed my mind. Mary Jane. He did it. Oh, Jeff. Cuff you. He's just joking with you. Ricky, I doubt it. He was probably at Taco Bell. LOL. Yeah, you know it. Yeah, you know Mary Jane gives you the munchies. DNA extracts, swab, DNA cuttings, extracts, DVD photos, SW photos, audio, buccal, nightstand, comforter, blue blanket, pillows, mattress, bed frame, pillows, shelf and picture, nightstand, and pillows. I think I think these right here. I think these are from his apartment. Suspect swab, seat cover and cushion, seat back, headliner swab, seat belt, swab 1, 2, and 3, hair sample, buccal, Coburger, MC Prince, buccal, who see something, dog hair, autopsy, NM autopsy photos, interview, Gonzalez documents, DNA, DVD, ECM cassette, nitrile gloves, receipt and tag, Marshall receipts, dust container, hair strands, fire stick, animal hair, shower hair, drain hair, computer hair, pillow hair, computer towers, counter swab, pillow swab, top mattress pad, bottom mattress pad, hair, tissue, receipt, pen cap, plastic bags, gift wrap, black plastic bags, hair, two tissues, contents bag 1B, red pill. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, red pill. Are we in the Matrix or the red pill or the blue pill? I wonder if BK ever saw the movie Gattaca. I don't know. So are we? Let's see. Where do we start? Where did we leave off? Pieces of notes. Contents: one bag, 1C. Tissue: pieces of notes. Receipts: pieces of notes. Multiple hairs. FEM: female hygiene products. So they found female hygiene products. Yes, Ricky Bobby, we have entered the matrix. The matrix of a screwed up case. Contents bag 1D, empty bag 2A, receipt, mail, multiple hairs, contents bag 2B, contents bag 2C, USPS envelope, lint and hair, content contents bag 2D, H2O bottle caps, gift wrap, contents 3B, bag, mail, hair, tissues and paper, black plastic bag, note, contents bag 4D, mail, contents bag, band-aid, straw, earplugs, lollipop sticks. Maybe BK like lollipops. Nail clipper, earplugs, used napkins, flossers, used Q-tip, Dunkin' cup and lid, straw, flossers, Q-tips, lollipop stick again, Dunkin' cup and lid, popsicle stick, H2O bottles, DNA swab 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, nail clip swab, DNA extracts, nail clip swab, nail clip swab, nail clip swab, nail clip, nail clip, nail clip, nail clip, DNA extracts, DNA swab, buccal, interview, DVD, buccal, beer can, backpack, full cans, beer can, interview, buccal, interviews, DVD, disposable camera, thumb drive, shoe prints, cell bright USB, H2O bottle, Xene, buccal, letter, buccal, swab, buccal. They're doing a lot of buccal swabs. They didn't use red solo cups like Boston Ellie. Done in by a Q-tip. The infamous Q-tip. No, Ricky Bobby, this entire case is infamous. The Ford console, Chevy. Why would they have a Ford console? Chevy, buccal, phone, monitor, fire stick, Kindle, uh, photo printer, fire stick, glove. Now these they got from the house, guys. That one 1122. Portable speaker, UAE speaker, JBL speaker, swab, DNA, blood swab, buccal swab. And I believe that's Ethan right there. Buccal, 2 cigarette butts. Right there, 2 cigarette butts. Buccal swab. Yeah, 2 cigarette butts, power cord, iPhone, SD card, note, diary. I wonder who had the diary. I wonder if it was Maddie, Kaylee, or Zana who had the diary. iPhone, comforter, camera, drop paper, 2 hairs, buccal swabs, apparent hairs, another cigarette butt. So that I'm counting 3 here. Note, DNA swabs, router and modem, uh, stain swab. There's a lot of stain swabs here. Leighton lift cards, DNA swabs, King Road video, swab camera, right sock, left sock, jewelry, DNA blood card, um, head hair, pubic hair, uh, right nail clipping, left nail clipping. That's more likely from Maddie because they found DNA underneath her fingernails. Trace EV hand, swab right hand, swab RD, swab LW, swab LD. Um, a butt swab, oral swab, 2 penile swabs, uh, swab the wrist. So that's 4 swabs on the wrist, 4 swabs on a female wrist, an ankle swab, 3 ankle swabs, 4 ankle swabs, 2 neck swabs, 2 hand covers, MC prints, underwear, DNA blood card, sweatshirt, hand cover, 2 hand covers, a foot cover, 4 hand swabs, another 4 wrist swabs, 4 arm swabs, 4 foot swabs, 4 ankle swabs, um, 2 thigh swabs, head hair, pubic hair, nail clippings, right and left, B bag trace, oral swab, butt swab, uh, the JJ swab, neck swab, hand trace, SD card, MC prints, dryer to shirt, pants. They're doing a lot of swabs on the hands, wrists, and forearms. And some personal areas on the females. Yes, the cigarette butts were found at the crime scene, Ricky Bobby. And I don't know if they got them tested or not, but the cigarette butts were found at the crime scene. Who was the smoker? Personally, I don't think none of those kids smoked. I don't think Kaylee, Maddie, Xander, or Ethan smoked. Yes, Jeff, and a partridge in a pear tree. Murphy liked Marlboros, thus the nickname Marlboro Murphy. A dog can't smoke, Jeff. A foot cover like you wear over shoes to not leave a shoe print. Yeah, Ricky Bobby, I think it was like the little booties that that you see the people at like doctors and nurses put booties over to protect their shoes. That could be what the cover is a booty that you put over a shoe, not only to protect your shoe, but yes, so your footprint can't be picked up. Now I was looking on here last night, and on this specific thing, and I saw where they talk about powder. Just gotta find it. I don't know why it said powder, but it said powder. Let me find it. See if I can find it again. I just skipped over it. Might have skipped over it. Let me find it. Yeah. I'm looking because last night I read this and I saw powder. It didn't say what kind of powder. It just said powder. Hand trace. Kershaw knife. A lot of blood swab. Right here. Powder. And money. Money and powder. Yeah. So right there, it doesn't say what type of powder, but they found money in the home and they found powder in the home. Now I saw that they found a, a vape pen, fingerprint lifts, steak knife. Now I know where that steak knife came from. The Hunter Johnson, when he came into the home after he was, I guess, called by the two roommates, Dylan and Bethany. He went in and he went in and grabbed a steak knife. Just a little toot. Yeah, there was a foot cover there too, Jeff. There was a foot cover there too. Yeah, because you have the knife sheath, which we've all heard about. A white blanket, a blue iPhone, a vape pens, fingerprint lifts, steak knife. Yeah, there's two hand covers right there. DNA blood card. shirt, pants, dryer. Jewelry, left sock, right sock. Now, I'd like to know whose diary this is. Is it Kaylee, Maddie, or Xana's? Jeff, who do you think who do you think it is? Kaylee, Maddie, or Xana's? Yeah, yeah. Property release. Property receipt report. Yep, our record. Yep. Thank you, Swirefly. Uh, I'm glad I'm back. Here, let me do something for you, Swirefly. Page 118. Is it on this one, Swirefly? Yes, Ricky Bobby. It could have been crucial information. Is there a missing page? Let's see. See, I'm on page 15 right now. Oh, I think I know what. I think I know what Miss uh, Firefly is talking about. I'm going over the first three tonight. Yeah, there's tons to go over, Swirefly. And you got your wrench back, Swirefly. Ricky Bobby, there's like tons and tons and tons of new documents. Yeah, I'm going over. Yeah, I'm going over. The first three tonight. There's Ricky Bobby. There's 300 pages of documents. Should say over 300 new documents actually. Yeah, right here. This is by Brett Payne at 1352 on the 2nd of March 2023. February 28th, 2023, I emailed a formal request to Captain Anderson with the LCSO for a copy of all video and audio obtained during Corporal Duke's traffic stop of Coburger. I was notified on March 1st that the video was ready for me to pick up. I responded to LCSO on March 2nd, 2023, and retrieved a thumb drive, which I later reviewed. The thumb drive contained the video of Corporal Duke's traffic stop of Coburger. In addition, Sergeant Blaker provided me a copy of the WSU PD traffic stop of Coburger, which I also burned to the thumb drive. I uploaded both traffic stop videos to the case digitally and maintained possession of the thumb drive. So Mr. Payne got a hold of that August 2022 traffic stop. And here we go about the residents, guys. February 21st, 2023, I completed a supplemental report detailing the release of the crime scene residents to the University of Idaho for security and management. In that supplemental report, I incorrectly listed the address as King Road. The correct address was released to the University of Idaho as 1122 King Road. And that's going to Lanier. So the crime scene was released to the university February 2023. See what else they're hiding from us. Uh-huh. I was notified via email on Monday, March 20th, 2023 of a found property call reported to LCSO, wherein the report discovered a K-Bar brand knife in some bushes in the city of Genesee, Idaho on the same day. Per the LCSO call records, the knife was located by a child playing in some trees at the top of Ash Street near Spruce Street. Department Deputy Whiting responded and booked the item into the LCSO evidence. Right there, they found the murder weapon. Yes, a K-bar knife was found in Genesee. Oh, just look at all this stuff, all the stuff that was hidden coming to the light. They've had the murder weapon the whole time. The whole time they've had the murder weapon. Yes, mind blown. Thompson was lying, Swirefly. He wanted everyone to think the murder weapon wasn't found. This document right here proves the murder weapon was found. And it was found on March 20th, 2023. Right here in the city of Genesee, Idaho, on the same day, per the LCSO call records, the knife was located by a child playing in some trees at the top of Ash Street near Spruce Street. The knife was a K-Bar brand knife with a blade approximately 4 inches in length. The knife was in a black Kydex sheath with cordage wrapped around the handle. The knife did not appear to match the wounds inflicted on all 4 victims. Collected the knife for LCO. LCSO booked it into MPD evidence on March 20. It also attached a photo of the knife for the LCSO call record. They're saying it didn't. They're saying it didn't match, but that's just weird. What number doc is this? Let's see. Go in my docs again. It is supplemental. 167. Swirefly. Yeah, you're welcome, Swirefly. Yeah, that's just the thing, Melody. Why did they take it, and why did they put it in evidence? They messed and planted a sheath, but the planned murder weapon was left with a sheath. Could this other K bar belong to another perp in the case? Because why are you going to just throw a K bar in a sheath into a bush in Genesee? Yeah, Melody, I understand. Why are you going to throw a K bar into a bush? That's what I don't. Whoa. That's what I don't understand. Why are you going to throw a K bar into a bush? This has got to be somehow connected to this case, because just by looking at it, Brett Payne said he could tell it wasn't the knife to make the wounds. Okay, then why Would you take this knife into evidence, Brett Payne? That's what don't make no sense. Why would you take this K bar into evidence if it wasn't if it wasn't involved? Unless you're covering unless you're covering up for somebody. Yeah, this knife did not appear to match the wounds inflicted on all four victims. I collected the knife from LCSO and booked it into MPD evidence on March 21st, 2023. I also attached a photo of the knife and the LCSO call record to this case file electronically. Okay, he right there he's saying that yeah, you're right, Ricky Bobby, you're right. He's saying right there that it didn't the knife didn't appear to match the wounds of the poor victims. Then why are you taking it into evidence, Mr. Payne? Yeah, because this K bar they found in the bushes in Genesee that was found by a child playing had a sheath. It had a sheath with it. Right, right here, right here. The knife was in a black Kydex sheath with cordage wrapped around the handle. And just like this one, Brett Payne again, March 2023. On Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, I received a packet containing a CD of vehicle identification charts from the FBI. The FBI additionally provided a hard copy photos of these charts. I booked the CD and the photo charts into the MPD evidence on Wednesday, March 29th. Oh, you're saying you know what's wrong with this phone? Yeah, exactly. How would Payne know that? It just didn't match the sheath. Here's another Brett Payne. Throughout the course of this investigation, I received working copies of reports, videos of interviews, and tactical briefs. And reports from Pennsylvania State Police. I received these items from Detective Justin Leary and the PSP CERT team commander. On Wednesday, April 12, 2023, I compiled these working copies into one file and uploaded the file to a hard drive. I booked the hard drive into MPD evidence on the same day the originals will be maintained as PSP per their policy. See some of this redacted stuff. On February 22nd, 2023, I was listening to the tip line phone calls, and a tip from blank and blank from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania was left on February 16th at 6:49 hours. In the tip, blank stated her brother, blank blank, and a blank used to be friends with Brian Koberger when they were in high school. Stated she felt it would be in our best interest to talk to blank about Brian. I called blank and she confirmed her brother blank and blank were friends with Brian in high school, and Brian has been in her mother's house during that time period. Blank was not sure if it would be very helpful for us to talk to R, but wanted us to know about this. I asked blank if her brother S would talk to us as well. Blank told me she would not. She was not sure, but would reach out to him and see if he would call us. I was able to locate info on blank on TLO. I use this info to find info on blank and blank. I will provide this information to Corporal Payne so it can be provided to the FBI in Pennsylvania so they can reach out to blank and blank for potential interview. Yeah, that's funny. Payne, the wound expert. Oh, here they mentioned Tolleson. On Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, I received an email from Detective Sergeant Gilbertson containing 2 scanned documents. The documents were notes taken by ISP Detective Tolleson during the autopsies of the 4 victims in this case. I attached scanned documents to the case file. Here we go, guys. Reddit. On March 29th, 2023, I received an email response from Reddit legal support in reference to my inquiry of the contents of the 3 data files received. The email stated in the following: Reddit is in receipt of your message and does not have a standard document outlining each data category. However, in response to your question regarding specific categories, comments, votes.csv, this file relates to comments that the user updated or downvoted, if any. For information on how voting works, please click here. Could this possibly be about... Hey, Maven. Hey, Maven, click the link in the top. You can come up for a minute. Could this possibly be about Papa Rogers? Could them reaching out to Reddit be about Papa Rogers? That's very interesting. And here we go. X-rays of victims. On February 22nd, 2024, I received a thumb drive from coroner Kathy Mabbitt, which contained X-rays taken of Chapin, Kernodle, Mogan, and Gonzalez at Spokane's coroner office during the autopsies. I booked the thumb drive into MPD evidence. And it's the Maven.
Hey, welcome.
Okay, Ricky Bobby says a kid in Genesee found a K-bar knife with a sheath handle wrapped in cordage in a tree, and Payne decided it doesn't match the wounds Payne determined. But yeah, that's correct, Rick. That's correct, Ricky Bobby. But why would he put it in evidence? If he deemed that it would not match, why would he take it into evidence? Your thoughts, Maven?
Well, why would he take it into evidence? I guess maybe in the beginning, you don't know what's going to be relevant until things are tested. You know, like you maybe see if there's any DNA or anything like that on it. So you would take it, and then even if you don't think it's going to be relevant, you still have to check it out. I would think, it would seem. Have you gone over the? I mean, I can see you've been on for 2 hours. I just woke up. But have you gone over the first responding officers? Not Payne. Payne came later, but there were 2 officers that were first. I think it was Smith and Nunes.
Hold on. I am still looking for that one. I've got all 300 documents on my computer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you just go to the Moscow Police Department website and get them?
Yep.
Okay. I tried to get on there yesterday, and well, at least my yesterday. It might have still been your same day. I don't know. And it was like the website was crashed. It was unavailable. So
yeah,
I haven't got anything yet.
Yeah, my brother AR, he tried to as well, and he couldn't get on.
Yeah. So I figured, okay, I'll give it a couple days. It's fine. But Brian Enton did read over some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's been bugging me the entire time since they sealed everything, because before they sealed it, I read that report. I don't know. I mean, I was just like randomly searching and I was like, oh, well, let me see what this is. And it was the first responders account of, in a narrative form, we arrived and we went inside, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yes,
And
I read Brett Payne's earlier in the live.
okay, yeah, no, it wasn't Brett Payne. It was one of the two first, the real responding officers. And so I had read it. I didn't save it. I should have like downloaded it and saved it from wherever I was reading it, but I didn't realize the importance of it and that it would be sealed later.
Yeah,
And so this entire time, for what is it, 2 years now, I've been
tw-
saying, number one, Kaylee was unrecognizable, right? And I
yes.
couldn't find it anywhere, right? Because it was in that report. And I was like, you know what? I think it's that report, but I had no access to prove it. The other thing was that Ethan was hamstrung because,
Well,
and so it's finally in there. It's talking about
they
the
said he was.
cuts on
They,
his
they
lower legs.
yeah, they said that he was carved. They didn't say hamstrung. They said that somebody had carved into his.
Correct, because that's the autopsy report. But this first responder used the term hamstrung
Yeah, and
because it stuck out to me. I was like, what?
well,
When I read it.
yeah, the one that Brett Payne did, and I read. Um, he stood there for a minute because he couldn't recognize Kaylee because Kaylee had been stabbed in the face.
Yeah. And also something that was interesting is that Kaylee was 30 plus times and Xana was the 50 plus times, because or at least I had it that Kaylee was 50 plus times. Um,
Yeah, and seeing that just goes back to what Steve G had said. The injury patterns didn't match, um, because you had Maddie who was just stabbed, and you had Kaylee
mhm,
who was
mhm.
basically stabbed in the face. She
And
was
all
stabbed.
over. Yeah. And then if we're to believe her mother, um, she mentioned in one of those interviews that she was actually in the corner, kind of like upright, like maybe she was trying to scoot away as the attack was happening, and she ended up back up against the wall. Um,
Well,
I,
see the way they put it in the actual police reports. When they walked in, uh, both Kaylee and Maddie were laying on the bed. They didn't say Kaylee was slumped over or anything like that. They said Kaylee was
correct.
laying on the bed and she was stabbed in the face. Um,
Mhm.
and see
Yeah.
what my thing is about it. We got a lot of misinfo out there. And it's not coming from YouTube. It's coming from the victims, from the Gonzaleses, because
Mm,
if you remember the plea change hearing, uh, Bill Thompson said there was no proof of SA, but
mm,
2 days later, you had Steve Gonzalez on Banfield saying it was sexually motivated.
mm. Right. And I think both can be true in that you could be motivated and intending, you know,
Yeah,
but then not being able to follow through with that. And I mean, profiling and stuff, it's been known forever that a knife stabbing into somebody is
yeah,
considered sexual,
yeah. Because
in
they
some
said,
cases, not, yeah.
yeah, because they said they found the P word on his phone, and it was like
Mm,
fetish, and
mm,
it was
yeah,
drunk. It was drunk girls passed out on a bed,
right. But then I heard
and
that maybe someone else also had that same kind of stuff on their phone.
yeah,
I think
and
it's
if you
like Jack S.
yeah, and if you look at the how the crime had taken place, you had two drunk girls passed out on a bed,
Mm,
and
right,
you also had the way Steve uh, on Banfield said that Kaylee and Maddie were gagged.
right. That was it. And then so when Brian Enton was reading parts of the autopsy report, there was there was a word. It wasn't gagged, but there was a word that I was like, oh, you know what? That's probably the marks that he said. And when I don't think they meant that she, like someone tied something on her, but that just that it was a handprint, gagging by the hand. So like maybe there were thumbprints or something, bruises.
Yeah, keeping their
Um,
mouths closed.
yeah. Ricky Bobby asked, what is hamstrung? So if you ever do any exercises, you know that on your thigh, the and some of the reports said lower calf, like the lower leg. But anyway,
Yeah.
officially, what's hamstrung is the front part of your thigh is your quad muscle, right? And the back side of your thigh is your hamstring, right? That's the muscles there on the back side of your thigh. Well, they go all the way from your hip to your knee, right? A muscle needs to attach with tendons to a bone. And so where they attach at the knee, it's actually very taut. There's a lot of tension in this particular muscle. And so what a criminal would do is cut right below the knee, like at the knee. Obviously, it would have to be above the knee, but I mean, right at the knee, you're cutting that hamstring muscle from the knee, and then you have incapacitated that person. They're not going to die immediately, and they cannot move. I mean, technically, I mean, you can move your arms or something, but you're in so much pain when that happens. Obviously, you can't walk. And it's kind of like, I guess, when you see a guy get kicked in the groin area and they just kind of crumple, right? And they're not going anywhere. Well, when you cut the hamstring, the same thing happens. And so currently, so because I had a friend of mine that was a nurse, that that was an ER nurse. This was like early on. This is more than a year ago. And he said that in his experience as an ER nurse, the only time you would see an injury like that was with drug cartels. And the reason they do it, okay, so this is drug cartels, right? And the reason that they do it is because they're actually torturing the person. Let's say you have a couple and you hamstring the husband, so now he's incapacitated, so that you can then torture the wife and he has to watch, right? That's why they will usually do a hamstring, cut the hamstring. And so I thought, if I read it correctly, that he was hamstrung, then it's very possible that injury happened first to Ethan, so that then Xana could be attacked with him watching. That's one possible scenario. Another is that he was in bed, and the person just didn't want him to be able to fight back and did it. But they had to know about it. They had to have knowledge about it from
Now, have
somewhere.
you seen the Asget video yet?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I wrote a comment and I said, thank you so much for making this, because it proves there's no way that the injuries that happened could have occurred in the 7-minute or 10-minute, whatever. Thank you for making this the way the police say that it happened, because there's no way it could have happened like that.
Yeah, because I was gonna play. Play the video. It's like only like 12 minutes. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but she did an amazing job, and she did what the data was that she was given,
yeah,
making that recreation. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's amazing. She did a lot for the Karen Reed case.
Since Brian Koberger pled guilty today, I feel like we released this full illustration of the Idaho 4 crimes, showing Koberger's movements. It's put together by evidence given to me by media companies like Netflix and others, including more recently Dateline, who hired me to do their 3D modeling for their project. I'm going to include into this episode where you can see.
Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm gonna get to it.
Okay, well, let me just say that I need to leave the house to go teach, like in 10 minutes.
Okay,
So
it's
I'll have
about it's about a 12-minute video, so um and I'm gonna wrap up to like right as the video's over. So
okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out. So while I'm watching, I mean, I'll say my goodbye now. Um,
okay.
and thank you for having me up and for letting me say what's been on my mind.
Oh, you're
I'll
welcome.
probably do a video sharing more about it once I get my hands on that report. So, bye.
Bye.
Mm,
As we go out and drop down to the second floor, we can see Dylan's room directly under Maddie's room. Continuing across the living room onto the other side of the home, we see Xana's room. She's sitting in bed scrolling on her phone while Ethan sleeps next to her. Minutes ago, she had just finished ordering DoorDash and has all the lights on while she waits. The last roommate to mention is Beth, whose room is on the first floor, directly below the living room. As most of them all sleep, Koberger pulls into the neighborhood for the first time this night at precisely 3:30 a.m. We know this due to a home security camera that captures the intersection and records the coming and going of anybody that enters that neighborhood. As we continue, Koberger drives past the home and notices that all the lights on the second floor are still on. He drives on and loops around the apartment complex building. Because of the home security timestamp, we're able to know how long it took to drive this path. On his first pass, it took him 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and this is him leaving on the first pass. Now let's look at his next two passes and record the times. This is pass 2 of him entering and leaving. And now this is pass 3 of him entering and leaving. When we do the math, we can see how long he took each pass. The last two passes were normal without any stopping, but on his first pass, he took an additional 42 seconds to creep by the house or even stop for a time to stare into the windows with the lights on. All this information has been coming from camera A, but there is a second camera located behind the apartment complex building, and we're going to call that camera B located here. This camera allows us to see how long it took to get from point A to point B, and between the three security cameras' data, it took between 35 and 37 seconds.
Now, also at the same time, that could have been the hybrid. That could have been the cops on patrol as well. So let's not count it as Brian just yet, because that one document I read was from Rosendahl, and another one that was doing the plain clothes patrol that night. So this could pass 1, 2, and 3 could have been them.
What this means is you didn't stop or park somewhere or go into a different direction. He simply drove straight from point A to point B at regular speed. These times help us understand the DoorDash delivery window. According to court documents, 2 times are noted. One is 3:59 a.m. and the other is 4 a.m. Bringing back our passage chart, we can see that the DoorDash time of 3:59 happens after Koberger has left the neighborhood and before he returns for his last pass at 4:04. It is possible that the DoorDash driver saw Koberger as he was parking his car, because a timestamp of 3:59 could be reflected when he took the photo of the food at the front door instead of the time he arrived. So it is possible
Yes,
he witnessed
Rosie, Ricky,
Koberger
Bobby.
staring at the windows as he drove by. Continuing,
Yes, Jeff. That's Asget Industries. She does amazing work.
as the driver leaves, Xena turns off all the lights, sits on her bed, and scrolls on her phone as she eats her food. A few minutes later, Koberger enters the neighborhood for the last time. But this time, as he drives by the home, he sees all the lights are off. At the camera B location, he turns around to head back to the residence as shown in this video. When he returns to the front of the house, he does something unusual, so much so that it's noted in the arrest affidavit. On page 6, it states, when the suspect vehicle 1 is in front of Kings Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. It goes on to say that he continued onto the intersection where he did a 3-point turn. This 3-point turn was captured on camera A, which has a timestamp of 4:06. He appears to be calm and not overly anxious with his driving. As he heads back in the direction of the residence, he takes one last look at the windows to make sure all the lights are off. As he begins to drive around the end of the apartment complex, camera B records the time of 4:07. Fast forwarding a little bit, Koberger drives to the back parking lot away from other residences. He takes a few minutes looking around and sees that nobody's out and that all is quiet. He eventually grabs his things, gets out of the vehicle, and begins walking to the back of the home. At approximately 4:13 a.m., he begins to make entry. As he steps in, he takes a minute to make sure everything is quiet and that nobody is truly up. He walks to the entrance of the living room and looks around. He continues to be cautious and stands there listening. Feeling confident, he continues upstairs. As he makes his way to Maddie's room, the time is about 4:14. Meanwhile, 2 minutes later, Xana takes a break from TikTok and walks into the kitchen. Evidence shows her activity on the app stopped at 4:16. As she enters the kitchen, she's a little shocked to see the sliding glass door wide open. And at the same time, she hears a serious commotion going on upstairs. Hey everyone, I don't usually ask, but I'm building a small production company to bring you more exciting stories, and I'd love your support. If you'd like to help out and get some cool perks, or own the 3D model file I created for this animation, please send me a DM and then drop a #AsGet in the comments so I know to look for your messages. Your support truly means the world to me. Thank you. Picking up where we left off, a source revealed that Xana's phone recorded steps and elevation change, which is how it's known she went to the kitchen and the 3rd floor. When she walked up to Maddie's doorway, she interrupted Koberger, who had just finished an intense battle with Kaylee, who fought back violently. After a second or two, he notices her, and then she turns away. Being dark, Xana didn't realize what she was seeing other than a shadowy figure. Out of fear, she quickly leaves. A single source, unaffiliated with the media, claims Koberger injured Xana on the 3rd floor hallway, leaving evidence of blood there. But this single source of information has not been validated by any more sources. Continuing, Koberger, without thinking, pursues her all the way to her room, not realizing he had dropped the sheath of his knife. When he gets to the room, he attacks Xana, and the time is precisely 4:17:30. We know this because of camera A captured the sound of screaming and the thud. After attacking Xana, Koberger focuses his attention on Ethan and attacks him while he slept. Afterwards, Koberger must have sat down in a chair according to a report, which found blood smears on Xana's chair, perhaps from the exhaustion of what he had just done. This source also says that blood from the 2 roommates upstairs were found in Xana's room, showing that it was one person moving from one room to another. Koberger sitting down was for less than 30 seconds. As he gets up to leave, Dylan, hearing the commotion from Xana's room, gets up out of bed and goes to her door to look out into the hallway. She freezes and sees Koberger as he walks by and exits through the kitchen. She immediately closes and locks her door and retreats to her bed. Within 20 seconds of the encounter, she's calling and texting her roommates, but no one is responding. It takes Koberger a minute and a half to get to his vehicle after the encounter with Dylan. But once in his car, He flees the scene at a high rate of speed and exits the neighborhood at 4:20. Dylan continues trying to reach someone in the house. And after 3 minutes of trying, Bethany wakes up in response to the calls. They converse for 3 minutes, and then Beth convinces Dylan to come downstairs. The time is now 4:26 a.m. Cautiously, Dylan walks into the hallway and through the living room. As she approaches the staircase, she can see into Xana's room and sees her laying on the floor. She then runs quickly downstairs to Beth's room, where they lock the door and for several hours continuously try contacting the other roommates. Back to when Koberger left the neighborhood, he drove a particular route that would exit onto a road that leads straight to Washington state line. And about that same time that Dylan runs to Beth's room, Koberger is entering Washington state. This is all part of Koberger's pre-planning, including finding a place to stop and get rid of any evidence. This place here fits that planning. This area here, pointed out by the arrow, is a little group of trees with a small area that you can park a car on. This is what it looks like from the road. At 4:30 in the morning, while changing clothes and getting cleaned up at this location, one could feel completely safe while being able to see the headlights of a car coming from miles away. As this pivots around, you can see how this is out in the middle of nowhere, and a pre-dug hole near some of these trees would hide forever any evidence that Koberger was trying to get rid of. It's important to remember that Koberger was studying criminal behavior and the legal system. This would have motivated him to plan things to the smallest of details, like plastic on the seats to conceal DNA, or crossing state lines because the jurisdiction of one area would take hours to get assistance from the other. He's also smart enough to know that this 10-minute stop would likely never be on the radar of the authorities, especially after he crosses back into Idaho and then turns his phone back on. Let's pick back up where we left off at his 10-minute stop. He continues on with his plan, knowing that he's completely cleaned up and that there's no evidence to tie him to any of the crime if he were pulled over at this point. After getting on Highway 95 and turning south, he turns his phone back on at 4:48 a.m. This section of Koberger's travels comes from his cell phone data extraction. Let's orientate ourselves onto this map and get a better understanding of the timing. Koberger leaves Kings Road residence at 4:21 a.m. Just 8 minutes later, he arrives at his stopping point where he gets rid of all the evidence. After the cleanup, he then drives back into Idaho and turns his phone back on, which occurs near a town named Blaine. This was referenced in the arrest affidavit along with the next town called Uniontown. The last place to reference is where he's seen on cameras near his apartment at 5:25 a.m. Using Google tools, we can get accurate timing information. This entire route took 54 minutes. If we add the 10 minutes stopping time to that, it would be an hour and 4 minutes. Now, if you add that hour and 4 minutes to the time he left King Road, it would equal 5:25 a.m., the same time the camera captures him on the cameras near Washington State University.
She did a good job at the video. Yes, but Ricky Bobby, I agree with you. She is very talented, and I agree with this version of the case. Yes. Like, well, with this stupid plea deal, yes, with this stupid plea deal, we'll never know. I agree with you, Ricky Bobby. I don't think that's what happened at all either. I don't agree with what was portrayed in the video. Is she a good 3D modeler? Yes. She did good at her video, but I don't agree with the context at all. I don't agree with the fact that there was no 911 call for 8 hours. I don't agree with the fact that for 8 hours Yes, I'm talking about the same thing. Not calling 911 for 8 hours. Them being on their social media for the 8 hours. Uh, Dylan putting a new contact in her phone for the private driver. Text him, asked him if he was still driving. Correct, Cuff you. She is telling the story. This does not mean she agreed with the 911 that was not called. Correct. I think the 911 should have been called as soon as they saw the person in the home and not waited 8 hours. They were on their social media, they were texting their parents. Yes, Ricky Bobby. If one thing seems wrong, something is wrong. This case has a lot wrong with it. Yes, you are absolutely positively correct. Yeah, them Dylan sending Snapchat messages at 4 something in the morning, receiving Snapchat messages, getting on TikTok, getting on Yik Yak, checking her Indeed. Why would you check your Indeed at 4 something in the morning? For hell, all we know, Ricky, Bobby, Cup, you, Maven, they could have been next door at Hunter Johnson and Emily Alant's house. Yeah, exactly, Swirefly. You don't check your Indeed at 4 a.m. Because Emily Alant and Hunter Johnson lived right next door. Yeah, and she texted her freaking roommates with no response for hours. Call 911, for Christ's sake. What was she doing, Cuff You? She was checking her Indeed. She was on Yik Yak. She was on TikTok. She was on Instagram. She was sending and receiving Snapchat messages. She was texting her dad. She was texting her mom. She should have called 911 as soon as she saw the bushy eyebrowed man in the house, Jeff. She should have called as soon as she saw the person in the house. Why didn't they call us, Firefly? Let me find it, and I will read it before I go. Oh, wow. Bethany saw a flash, heard a firecracker, heard the pong table move, and the dog bark in close sequence. Wow. I saw a ninja in my house. Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah, yeah, because if you remember Swirefly, Dylan's story changed 3 times while being interviewed. Yes, and saw a masked man. I hope everyone has a good night, and make sure you hit that like button, and thank you for subscribing, Cuff You, and make sure you hit that bell notification and make sure you click all so you get all my deep dives. Yeah, I do remember that Firefly. I hope everyone has a good night. This is True Crime Unleashed, and I'm out. Peace.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm mo